Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education, and I'm glad that you're here to listen to me talk about Lucid and the earnings report that we have gotten from them. I have a lot of really good information for you in this video. If you want to hear more of my commentary and access more of my products and services, there is the link for the Patreon down in the description. Click it, sign up, be part of the community. We'll see you over in the Discord. With that said, I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Let's get right into it. Alright, so for Lucid, you can see the stock slides as EV maker misses, and maybe this was a layup, maybe this was an easy shot, I don't know, but I did my homework on this one, and I know that car companies are very expensive to get going, and it's not uncommon for them to miss with their earnings, and so I was able to be right on this one, and they were fairly transparent and enough with their deliveries and everything that it was much easier to make a projection on what exactly was going to take place. I have that projection, my estimates, over on the left-hand side of the screen that you can see over here, and we'll talk about those numbers. You can even compare them as I go through this video. So they do talk about the deliveries, the 1,932, and I have that. We knew that already. That was public information a long time ago. And they talk about missing the estimates to 2813, and we knew that as well. And you can see here that the stock being down about 9.5% in the after hours. We'll take a look in this video also at the performance of it. So over in the Discord today, through my Patreon, I talked to my members about the fact that I took up a short position on Lucid for their earnings. I bought just a couple of put options because I was pretty sure that it was going to work out in my favor. I was a little bit nervous because I know there was a lot of different options out there for calls, expecting some sort of big surprise to the upside. And there's a few things in here in their earnings that I find just a little bit disappointing. And you'll see in my estimate that I had, that I shared previously on YouTube, and the spreadsheet is available over at the Patreon. So like I said, that's over there. But I said before in my estimates, I put out these numbers. You can go back and you check my other videos on Lucid that I've put out in the past month or so. The first thing that I thought was sort of disappointing was the revenue of $257.7 million versus the $314. I had it at $273, so I was a little bit shorter than they were on the revenue estimate, given the amount of vehicles that were produced. And you can see that here. That turns out that that's an overestimate, that they're not getting as much money per vehicle as I had in my estimate. So that also ties into what they're looking at Q1. And I want to share some of the commentary on Q1 as well that I'm not sure that you're going to get at other channels. So I'll share that with you guys, and I'll make a new workup. I'll put that over at the Patreon, and eventually I'll bring it back over to YouTube for you guys so you can watch this. And, you know, as always, in the comments, you can leave me your thoughts that you have on Lucid. So they are getting less revenue per vehicle than expected. And there's a few other things. I'll pull the earnings report here, but let me just get through this. So I expected an EPS miss of 0.28 or 20. I'm sorry, the EPS miss for them was 28 cents loss, and for me, I had it at a loss of 38 cents, and I'll show you the reasons why that came in so differently. The estimate was 40 cents. So let's move on from there. So they made the announcement. Where is it? Here it is. This is the first part that I found really disappointing. Well, besides the revenue miss, 10,000 to 14,000 vehicles for 2023's production for a facility that I think is supposed to have a maximum output capacity of like 49,000 by year's end of 2023. So I cut that number pretty much in half. It was 49 or 46,000. It's somewhere around there. It's in the 40,000s, close to 50,000 vehicles per year. So maybe 2024 is their year. We're going to have to watch and see as that takes place. Maybe they expect a little bit more of an economic slowdown, a little bit of a decline. Like I said, we're going to have to watch and see what they say about that. So if it's 10 to 14,000 vehicles, and they also write here, this point is concerning to me. The part that's concerning to me isn't the fact that they're bringing in as much revenue for one quarter as they made in the entire year last year. That part is a really good part. The part that concerns me are the production numbers for Q1 for 2023. And I'll calculate that for you guys and put that up here. I'll do it just on this spreadsheet that's here on the computer in front of me. They have a lot of undelivered vehicles. And so if we take the revenue per vehicle that they saw, according to their Q4 numbers that they have here for 2022, we get the average number of EVs that, assuming that they deliver all of the rest of them, we'll find out what that revenue is, and then we'll see how much more they have to produce and deliver in Q1 in order to meet that number. So we'll see what that takes, and I haven't done it yet. So, I mean, that's going to be kind of neat to watch. So we'll get that in just a moment. I do want to finish looking through here, but yeah, 10 to 14,000 for the year. That's not too great. They were already able to produce like 7,000 in pretty much their inaugural year, which is good for them. It's very good. Hopefully, it's a late ramp into 2020 and like into 2023, and maybe I'm just being too hypercritical about them at this early stage in the game. They're doing incredible work. They're doing work that I myself couldn't do, although I would absolutely love to shadow them for just a few weeks, tour the facilities, see what it takes to make a luxury brand the way they do. Because I don't want to give the wrong impression about the Lucid vehicles themselves. They seem absolutely incredible. Lucid as a company is taking on just an enormous feat. So in no way am I whatsoever shaming Lucid for the work that they've done. I am, as somebody who's not an investor in Lucid, although I have traded and I know I took a short position, but I'm not a Lucid bear either. I'm just somebody who recognizes the incredible task that is starting up a car company. It's something that if you look back at Elon Musk with what he said about starting up Tesla, like he said that he was only willing to risk his own money, like with whatever PayPal money he had, money that he had from his PayPal days. That's what he was using to fund the company. He knew what sort of risk he was taking on. Production numbers, I was hoping for more. I guarantee you the market was hoping for more, and we didn't quite get it for full year 2023. And maybe this number is even a little bit soft for Q1. So hopefully there's not a demand issue. And they say, because of giving the credits, it's down here, 28,000 pre-orders for the Lucid Air, down from the 34,000 reported Q3. So not great that it's a little bit softer. However, cancellations are expected. We'll see. They did announce that they were going to give its very own $7,500 tax credit. That's going to be a headwind for them because that's not coming from the government. They're already a company that's losing money, that has money to hold them out until I think Q1 of 2024, they've said in this earnings report. And, now they're giving a credit on top of it in order to make sure that they stay competitive. I think it's a good business move in market penetration. I think it's a good thing to try and get more demand for its product. The troublesome thing is cash burn. So hopefully cash burn doesn't become that sort of issue where they become insolvent and they just, they have to close doors because they have an incredible start. They got a really high quality product, and I want to see them make it as a company. I'm excited for Lucid, and I am a cheerleader for them, and I want to see them really persevere and make it through the hurdles that they face. All right, so let's find out about this. What was the revenue number here? 600 to 640 million. So we'll take the average of that, 620 million, and we'll find out how many EVs it's going to take in order to do that. And that should give us ideas of delivery numbers that they expect for Q1 from their production from Q1. So let's see here. All right, so I'm just saving a little bit of time by typing, not having you guys watch me type all this in. However, they produced 7180. This is from their earnings report, 7180 for 2022. They delivered 4369. So if we just take that one minus that one, there we go. There's 2,811 undelivered vehicles. Now, a few other things. We got to figure out how much revenue per EV. So what we need is the revenue from Q4, which from theirs was 257. Come on, Dr. Cole, 257.7 million. So 700,123, there we go. And let's put a dollar sign on that one for everybody. All right, so we got their revenue from Q4, and all we're going to do now is get the rev per EV for Q4. Try and keep my labels going for you guys. So for that one, we put equals, we put this number divided by, and now we need to know how much was delivered. 1932 is that number. There we go. So they got about $133,000 per EV. So what we want to check then, if you stick with me for just another moment, they have the revenue for Q1, and that's the estimate. This one is 620. Oh my gosh. Now, I told you guys I'm going to be infamous for not being coordinated. I swear it. I have the worst coordination in the world, and typing is absolutely no exception. Imagine typing, I forget what my dissertation ended up being, like 160 or 170 pages, with these hands that fumble all over the keys so often, and I drop everything. And that's scary because while I have 2 children who are very healthy, well, and wonderful, I have a 3rd child on the way. And holding a baby when you're somebody who drops everything, just like, I got to be super, super careful that I'm not me during those moments. All right, so back to this. So there's my revenue estimate. Well, not mine, I'm sorry. Lucid's revenue estimate for a Q1 for 2023. Now, the next thing that we want to do is turn this back into how many EVs they expect to deliver for Q1 and compare that to how many undelivered vehicles they have. And that tells us how many they expect to deliver in Q1. Ta-da! So call this Q1 delivery estimate. There we are. So equals that one divided by that number. There we go. So 4,648-ish vehicles. And let's go here then. And that's not great. That's concerning. All right. So if we take the undelivered vehicles and take that number and subtract the undelivered vehicles. Let's call it EVs in Q1. That's a nice short title. So equals, let's take the undelivered vehicles that we have. Let's take the delivery estimate. And again, that's according to their numbers. And we're going to subtract out the number of undelivered vehicles. So that is, for the number of vehicles that they need to produce and deliver in Q1 is 1,837. So while it's good that they expect to deliver so many, like I said, good thing, we want to see how that turns into their production numbers, because undelivered produced vehicles is inventory sitting around. And I don't think that that's going to be healthy for Lucid. So most definitely something that we want to keep an eye on. Hopefully they come in well above those numbers and they're being conservative. So we want to watch most definitely to see how many EVs were delivered in Q1. So as they come out with those numbers for us for 2023, watch those numbers. And we also want to know, we want to see that they're on pace for that 10 to 14,000, so 12,000 vehicles delivered. All right, so we have some good things here. One is that they plan to deliver, or they estimate that they're going to deliver more vehicles than they did in the entire year in 2022. So kudos to Lucid for that. That is moving in the right direction. The trouble that I find is, what do the production numbers look like in Q1? That, when we look for Q1 earnings, so they'll probably come out in May, considering that it's February, we want not only strong production numbers, but we also want strong delivery numbers that match. So we want to see that they've exceeded their revenue, and we want to see that they beat production. By beating revenue and production, hopefully that means that they got more delivered than they ever expected to. And so we want to make sure that there's no demand issue, that there's no infrastructure issue that's keeping the inventory sitting around rather than being delivered. Is it still semiconductor shortages? Are they missing parts for their vehicles? Is that why they're not being delivered? Those are things, maybe they're in the earnings call. I didn't get a chance to listen to that yet. Maybe it's already been addressed. But I'm a little bit concerned with that number. However, I hope that they aim to surprise us and they're being conservative with the company and the numbers that they project in the meantime. Last thing, here's the chart for Lucid, and you can see it closed the day just under $10, $9.98 per share. However, if we go to the intraday to look at the after hours, you can see the steep drop that they've had. And they've actually given back a little now that they're only down about 7%. So I don't know when the market opens tomorrow. We'll have to see what sort of market bias we get. And GDP numbers that come out might be a little bit of an influence on that. Job numbers might be a little bit of an influence on that. We're just going to have to see. Today was kind of even. Tomorrow could also be kind of even. PCE and consumer sentiment could be the bigger drags. We're going to have to watch as they come out, and they're going to be a little bit more telling for us. This might drop tomorrow when the market opens a little bit more. Depends on what sort of weakness they see. I do want to summarize from here. So for Lucid, not great right now. But I don't think it was going to be great right now. I think that they are set up in a prime way that, assuming that demand holds out and that they can get the production out, they can get the deliveries out, that we actually have a nice beat over expectations in Q1. The difficulty that I see are just the weak economic headwinds that we expect the economy to just soften a little bit. And for a luxury EV company, even though it might be people who are a little bit better insulated, quite a bit better insulated against such things as recession, it still could impact their buying. So that's something that we're going to have to watch out for. For Lucid, I'm sure that the demand has the ability to hold out, that they have the ability to produce more vehicles, that they have the ability to deliver more vehicles. We just need to see it happen. They've got an incredible product. It's a totally exciting brand. I think people really want to have a shot at it. And, that luxury model that they're building, there just needs to be enough of the customer base that they say the pre-orders are there. Hopefully the incentivization that they have out for the tax credit of $7,500 prior to March 31st really drives that demand forward, and we're going to have to see it. And hopefully that demand holds out for after that credit that they've offered expires. By the way, if I called it a tax credit, I misspoke. It's not a tax credit. It's just a credit that Lucid is offering to stay competitive with other EV manufacturers. So there's that in there. So thank you guys for listening. If you want to hear more of my commentary or see more of my products and services, click that link for the Patreon down in the description. Also, while you're down there, there are some links that you can sign up, get some free stocks. So you're paying yourself, but I get paid in the process. So thank you very much ahead of time for that. Some free, easy stuff, like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't, ring that notification bell to see anytime that my videos come out. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. We'll see you in the next video.